Good evening. This is the January 25th, 2017 meeting of the Auburn Conservation Commission. This meeting is being recorded for rebroadcast and can be seen at the town website, which is auburnguide.com. Before we begin tonight's meeting, I am required to ask if anyone in the audience is making a recording of this meeting. Okay, people shaking their heads. The first item on tonight's agenda is a 7 o'clock public hearing. Notice of intent filed by Eastland Partners, Inc. for the construction of a paved roadway and installation of utilities on property located on Blaker Street. Is there a motion to open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed to vote. Someone here from Eastland?
Sure.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can you identify yourself for the record, please?
Sure can. My name is Chad, C-H-A-D Boardman, and I'm with Eastland Partners of Natick, Massachusetts. I was here approximately a strong month ago because you all knew that we were potentially doing over 1,000-foot road into Oxford, and we recently pulled it back at the time when I came in front of you guys a couple meetings beforehand, before we did the site walk. So in an effort to do that, we extended the meeting out a couple times to tonight to at least get a revised plan. It's been back and forth to Graves multiple times, and it's really tied in for right now. I'm not too sure if Matt sent you out new plans or PDFs, but I did bring another 3 full copies of the updated plan that was submitted as of last night to the planning board. So everybody should be on the same page now.
So what happened
Did
at
that
the,
last night?
Yes, that's correct.
so what happened at the planning board meeting last night?
Got continued to the next meeting. There was a few small issues that needed to be reviewed from Graves, as well as we had a length of road waiver request that's at town council. We're saying that the road's less than 800 feet, and to get a waiver, they're believing that it starts at the intersection of Blaker and Albert Street. So there's some dialogue going back and forth. So it's at town council right now.
Okay.
So it was whether it started at Blaker or whether it started at Albert?
That's correct. To ask for a waiver. We don't believe we need a waiver, but it's in town attorney's review right now.
But no issues affecting conservation issues, is that correct?
No, that's correct. Yeah, one of the remaining items I think that was on kind of the conservation was a calculation for riprap weight volume for the detention pond, and that's been verified the last round. But again, Graves has to say yes, you're correct. The size is right.
Okay, so they haven't done that
They
yet.
haven't done that yet.
All right.
That's correct. And also, at the same time, we went last night and we did a continuance of up to 60 days for the definitive process as well, knowing that you haven't had a chance to really review, and it's been going back and forth, and we had some outstanding issues with town council and things like that. So we're on for another up to 60 days. But we feel like on the 7th, that we'll have quite a few of the list, probably 95 to 98% of the things all squared away.
All right, so what I'm hearing is that it sounds like, are you requesting a continuance to our first meeting in February?
At least the planning board is,
Right.
but I'm not too sure if you guys want to talk about the plan, or I know you did a review previously, and nothing's really changed.
Nothing's changed on
No,
this?
since that site walk we did.
And Graves is only talking about the riprap?
Yes, that's correct. And I can get you the documentation, or Matt can easily give you the follow-up documentation regarding the detention ponds and things like that. Nowhere else. We're in the buffer zone. You'll see a unit in there that's in the buffer zone, but we're not doing an individual notice of intent on the lots. All we're doing is the small area down here.
Right. Mr. Boardman, my preference would be to just get the final say-so from Graves Engineering.
Sure. Yeah.
For the size of the riprap, I'm sure,
Yeah.
and the grand scheme of things, it's a small issue.
Not a problem. Yeah.
But, so with your permission, when's our first meeting, February? Is it February 8th?
The day after, but not a problem.
Do we have anything on?
We do. Would have to be at 7, oh, wait a minute, 7:45.
Yeah.
All right. If that's agreeable to you?
That's totally fine, yes, thank you.
Okay.
7:30 was that 3:14. Motion to,
Okay, so is there a motion?
I move to move Eastland Partners, Inc. to our meeting on February 8th at 7:45.
yes, second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed to vote? Thank you.
Thank you. I'll leave these 3 sets for you guys to.
Oh, sorry.
But do we have someone that
Oh,
would
yeah.
like to speak?
Okay, ma'am.
I'm Eileen Lassard, I live at 11 Laker Street,
Yes, ma'am.
and I am working with the Heritage Foundation about some wildlife concerns we have with some endangered species.
Mhm.
So I just want to let you know that that's still in the works.
Okay.
The Snowy River Lady Slipper, that's in Mount Laurel, and there's still a question about the black turtle.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, we'll see you in a
Great.
few weeks then.
All right, great, thank you.
All right, you can keep these.
Okay.
You're keeping this one, I'm betting.
Sure.
All right,
Unless you want it.
Put it on my wall at home.
Thank you.
thanks. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have some time before our next public hearing at 7:15. See, Mr. Mallard is in the audience. And Mr. Mallard, I presume you've received something from us?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And, you know, my address is 165 South Street,
Okay.
not 161, so I'll either want to send something else. That's my address.
Yes, sir.
I measured it,
Please have a seat.
I measured it out. Me and my son measured the land. He said it was in wetlands. I'm 112 feet from wetland.
Mhm.
I don't shoot where I'm in wetlands nowhere.
Sir, all right.
Okay, just let you know what I'm saying.
The way the process works is
Yeah.
that if there's a question of whether or not we have jurisdiction,
Right,
you file what's called a request for determination of applicability.
okay.
And so before the work is done, you file the request for determination. We have an opportunity then to go out to the property and then make an investigation.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm glad to-
All right. Now, you weren't even supposed to actually come here
Right,
tonight
no.
because I wanted to give
But
you time.
I would make sure I wouldn't, I might be sick next week, who knows? On this meeting, so I felt good, I wanted to be here, that's all.
Okay, all right. So, and just so you know, I think there was a complaint that had been filed by someone,
Yes, 14 Carriage Drive.
and so as a result, we did go out there and took a look at the property. Respectfully, I received some documentation from Darlene Coyle that suggests
I walked down there with her.
that suggests, sir, that the work certainly did fall within our jurisdiction. So I guess we need more evidence and more information with respect to where the wetland area truly is.
Okay.
So that's also on for February 8th, is that correct?
Yes, it's still on the agenda, yes.
All right.
Very good.
So we cannot give you an advisory opinion. We can't really give you advice on how to proceed with this.
Yep.
It's just that, you know, we saw that the lot had been cleared, a lot of chipping had taken place, and that apparently that chipping was used, at least in part, to make the slope on the side of the property.
For washout, yes,
Right.
yes.
And so, I don't know what your plans are, and I don't know where you stand in terms of the, I believe there was cease and desist that was issued.
Yep.
And I don't know if that order is still in effect from Mr. Moody, but, you know, I think the order speaks for itself. We asked for the wetlands to be delineated, and respectfully, I'm not sure it's something that, excuse me, a layman can do, all right? So I'm just saying to you, we cannot give you advice on how to proceed with this, but based on what we saw, there was an issue of whether or not we had jurisdiction, and that's why we issued the enforcement order,
Okay,
okay?
Yep.
So, you know, you're not gonna do anything to change that slope, correct,
no,
or
no,
material? All right,
nothing at all.
all right, so,
But see what happened, my son made a spot on the banking for a slide for my grandkids.
mhm,
And the lady at 14 Carriage Drive, she ran my property. I said, no, I'm not, we own this property. So I showed her the boundary work, map would work. So, okay, I'm sorry, my mistake. Then she called you, she called town hall, because she thought it was on her land. But that's how it all started.
Okay,
Okay, and my son made a slope. He's 112 feet from the wetlands, where the slide is. He ain't near wetlands.
well, I've got some information that suggests it might be.
Okay, that's
Okay?
fine, yeah.
And that's
whatever.
why I think, you know, in order to do a proper investigation, we need,
Yeah.
you might want to speak to a wetlands consultant
Okay,
about that. Again, we can't give you advice, but, you know, and just so you understand, we don't take this lightly.
oh, no, I agree.
And
I know
so,
that.
you know, we are more than happy to work with you on this,
Yep.
but I think it does require further investigation on your part,
Okay,
okay?
yep,
So, we'll see you on February 8th,
okay.
all right?
So what time should we tell him to come in, just because I've got all those other hearings?
8 o'clock?
8? Okay, is that all
Okay,
right?
8 o'clock, yes, sir.
All right, smell it.
That's fine.
All right,
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
all right, we appreciate it, thank you, sir.
No problem, thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
That's gonna be a long night.
Not necessarily.
Okay, just looks that
Okay.
way.
That night is, yeah.
You guys are spoiled.
I
Okay,
am.
We used to have marathon conservation commission meetings.
Yeah.
The first time I came, remember, it was like 2.5, almost there. We don't get out until close to 10. The first time I did
It's
it.
one of my goals to make these meetings go quickly. you
I was-
know?
I did
One
do
of the
it, yeah.
fundamentals classes,
Ship
Michael,
shop
was
job.
getting home before midnight.
Yeah.
That was one of the
That's
things.
right.
I'm not sure I've ever been here.
Good goal,
to
Michael.
do
It's a good goal, Michael.
that. In any event, moving right along.
Moving right along.
Okay.
We're ready.
After, and this is from the traffic too, we made a site walk on Mr. Mallett's property on 161 South Street. And in fact, I took some pictures and
Yes, you did.
I made copies.
When did you go up there?
That would have been 2 Saturdays ago,
Right after that Saturday following our last meeting.
so,
There you go.
please.
Oh,
And you had the complaint by then?
Yes.
oh.
Yeah, actually, it was, I think the complaint was filed
Yeah,
back
he took some pictures, he had his camera down. Michelle and I were
in December.
we're finding them.
I was running back up the hill. That was where I was running back up the hill.
This is
So-
what we're talking about. It was really, you were there.
Yeah.
And so
Right now.
anyway, based on our observations during that site walk, I issued an enforcement order on my authority, and so I'm looking for the commission to ratify it.
I'm sorry, you issued him an enforcement order.
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
That's why Mr. Mello was here tonight.
So was someone gonna?
I'll make a motion to ratify the enforcement order.
And I will second that.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed to
Just get
vote.
that out so you all can sign it, right?
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
This was
But
all.
you know what? There's more than wood chips in there. We can see,
Yeah.
we saw pieces of plastic from like a headlight vehicle or something. like
Sheila,
that.
on
It was
this
all-
record, my
Whatever it was
address or
got
the
covered in
town's?
wood chips, so.
Yeah, you can put the towns.
We issued enforcement order.
Yeah.
Just the towns.
104 Central?
You said that when you came up. You said exactly what I was just saying, that there was more stuff in there that was covered.
Yeah.
You said that when you came up.
I did send that to 165.
I'm sure you did.
He's right.
Yeah. Here it is, right here.
Okay.
And I think I sent them a separate one just so, you know, some people don't get to pick up their mail when it's certified. Oh, sure. Ooh,
Yeah.
wow, it's a lot of wood chips.
Sure is.
What's more curious is what's underneath them.
Michelle was up there.
That's right.
Making sure things didn't snap back on me as I read what I asked the guys.
Some Christmas trees for next year.
Oh, they were up.
I think that's it. So we have a few minutes before our 7:15 public hearing. Have we heard from Applebee's?
No, I haven't. I sent them regular and certified.
And when did that
And
go
I
out?
found out who the new manager was.
Okay.
So I addressed it to him with a copy of the enforcement order.
And when was that?
Pretty sure I got the green card back. Oh, it's right here. January 19th, I mailed it. This is the other one. That's the old.
You're doing how, 23? 723.
I didn't get the green card back.
All right, so
I
it's
mailed it on the
possible-
19th.
And today's the 25th.
Yeah, that's,
So, all right, you know what? We'll pick this up after our public meeting. Or hearing, rather.
I just like the title.
did you really? Did you really? It's not heck of a lot, man.
These are fundamentals and two.
Yeah. So
We get time in between them.
I have 7:15. So the next item on our agenda is a notice of intent filed by Crescent Builders for the construction of a single-family dwelling at 6 Whitetail Run in Auburn. Is there a motion open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote.
Jay?
How you doing?
Can you state your name for the record?
Yep, Jason Dubois from DC Engineering and Survey.
Okay. Mr. DuBois? Okay. Several of us have had an opportunity to go to the property. When we went there, we saw that the silt fence was in place. Although that property has not been treed yet, correct? It hasn't been cleared?
Is that been cleared yet?
The property is not here.
Okay, all right. Okay, and I know there was an issue with respect to...
Because there was a crossing, that's why we didn't do it.
That's right. Okay. Do you have anything to add to your previous?
Yeah, I wasn't at the last hearing, I was actually out of town. My
Okay.
partner was here. He's also the one that went on the sidewalk.
Yes.
That day I believe I was sick. So, but I'm back here, so.
Okay. There's an issue with culverts, right?
Yeah, DEP want us to look at the stream crossing standards.
Mhm.
We had a 36-inch pipe basically sitting on the surface. So the stream crossing standards, they want you to have a natural stream bottom through the crossing area.
Right.
So what we did, we put in a 48-inch pipe and buried it a foot in the ground.
All right.
There's notes on the plan, basically, material that's excavated out to be replaced back in the bottom of the pipe to create a natural stream bottom.
Okay.
So, we did that. I also had a question about the natural heritage habitat,
Right.
which is not even on the property. This is the property limits, here, here's Whitetail Run. This is the natural heritage line. It's actually even off the property. It's not even on the property, so.
Okay.
The original parcel it was on that parcel, but since these have been subdivided now, it sits in the backland.
Right.
So that was the other issue. I think that was all DEP's comments.
Okay.
And I showed a detail for the crossing with the boulder wall and the pipe to be, set a foot down.
So what's your timetable for construction?
When we start this.
I wanted to do a crossing and have it ready before the stream starts flowing,
Mm-hmm.
maybe in a month.
All right. And of course, depending on the weather. So,
Colder is better.
understood. Any questions from the board? Okay. All right. If there are no questions from the board, is there a motion to close?
I move to close the meeting.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, to vote. You're all set.
All set?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gordon.
Good night.
You look perplexed.
Oh, I just didn't know what you were opening up there.
Okay, this is just the plan for Whitetail Run.
He's got the big one.
I do
I
have
just
one.
have the little tiny one right
Yeah.
here.
So-
what I mean, yeah.
It might be.
Does anyone feel courageous enough to start working on the order of conditions?
Will the order conditions be like within a couple of weeks? Or?
We're working on it right now.
Oh, okay. Can we just wait for them?
You
Or?
can sit
No.
right here, you can't wait for my, what I'm gonna say. You can
Oh,
wait
all
here.
right. But I mean, when will they be ready to pick up?
If I have a good day tomorrow, I'm gonna try to get
All
right
right.
on it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'll know.
If she has
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
We'll
Du Bois.
hope for a good day tomorrow.
Usually the model efficiency if we could do that. huh?
Anyway,
We'll do this, we'll do this.
all right, so Tom, let her rip.
All right.
Tom's gonna go, all
There we go.
right.
I just want to look at, it's a good idea to look at the plan before.
And would you like to look at the bigger plan?
Yeah. see what
There we go, there we go.
So you can actually read it?
I got it.
I will note that there is replication shown on the plan. so-
Okay.
I was just kinda curious when he said the 48-inch pipe,
Yes.
how come, Whitman Bailey came in with two,
24-inch pipes?
Right.
no, he came in with two 18-inch instead of the 36?
Mm-hmm.
I thought they wanted him to have the two smaller ones. I was kind of surprised that he would, I thought he was going to say he was coming in with two small ones rather than that big one, but
That one's on underneath, right?
he said that's what they
That was in a different crossing.
To the-
You're
to
right.
the wetland area, right?
I was thinking the same exact thing on
Yeah.
a different one too, because
They did do that.
there was,
the other one was for the
Prospect.
driveway.
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, we haven't gotten any comments from DEP, correct?
Hmm?
We have not gotten any comments from DEP. This plan was last revised on January 12th.
Oh, I'm sure I haven't gotten anything, no.
All right.
I've never gotten anything like that when they've revised plans anyway.
There was a
This
reason
one-
for that though.
Well, if I
There
don't,
was a
I'm gonna
different
Yeah.
reason for that. There was a different reason for
what?
that,
Whitman
and I
Bailey?
can't remember what it was.
You're not helping me here.
I'm sorry.
Sorry to, you can't say stuff like that.
There was a,
There was a different reason why they made it too small.
there was
I
a
don't remember what it
different
was.
reason, I can't
It
remember
wasn't
what
because they had
it
to have the stream bed on the
No.
water meter, it was something.
was. It was something different, I can't remember what it was now.
All right,
This was written daily, is that right? Yeah.
I think I had sent this to everybody.
You did send some so much.
I was,
Wait a minute, I'm gonna think really hard for a second, hold on.
Let the wood burn. No quiet one. What did you send? Everything you sent right here.
what are you looking at, Sheila?
this was just you could possibly read it maybe, DEP, their comments.
Right. This is,
But that was initially when it was issued.
this was in December.
Right.
Right.
I
That
don't
was the
have
one that
any-
mentioned the natural heritage thing,
Right.
yeah. And when you look on the map, which you'd have to go through about 8 web pages to find it, it looks like it's like right, probably where this is right here.
Mhm.
You might guess it's so close, but it's hard to tell when you look at the map and you go in too close.
Yeah.
You can't, it
Well, this is,
disappears, so.
This is a 20 scale map, which means that literally the line's running probably less than 5 feet behind the edge of the property line. So it's understandable why there wasn't
It's a
concern.
different pipe, it's a different pipe width too, because that was 36, this is 48.
Correct.
Yeah, and he's gonna bury it down a foot.
That's right. But that channel does convey, I mean, we saw it when of course, there were winter conditions, but it's a decent sized channel. I imagine it conveys a decent amount of water.
That was big.
Definitely.
Too wide.
Hence the
Hockey
need for
rink,
the
remember?
four.
Oh my God, you put a-
All the way around, go.
Kids playing hockey.
I mean, that's a big culvert.
Huh.
That's the
Right,
bottom.
right, right.
Yeah.
It's
Really?
probably wide. It's
Huh.
big, yeah, I
Okay.
can go with it.
I don't remember what it was.
All right, so anyway,
Moving on.
standard order plus.
I make a motion, we issue a standard order of conditions for
6 right here.
6 Whitetail Run, a standard order, and also special conditions number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
Mm-hmm.
5 to 6.
I don't think there's any riff right
Say
now.
Rick Raff.
8, 9, I'm reading number 10.
Yeah,
Subject to
10, is
provisions
it?
estimated.
Doesn't apply.
No.
Doesn't.
11,
Right.
12,
Uh-huh.
catch basin on the property, stormwater management, construction, really.
Mr.
No, there's none
I
shown.
believe that's it.
13.
13 and 14
Not
don't apply.
14.
All right, so-
14, okay.
All right, so your motion, standing order plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11, and 12, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion?
You're gonna specify the plan or anything as shown on the plan.
Uh,
Necessary.
All right, and actually, she'll raise a good point. The plan, it should be noted in the order that this specifically relates to the revised plan that was submitted on January 12th of 2017. Okay, so with that provision, is there, okay, there's been a motion, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote.
Okay.
Who seconded it? I did. Oh, okay. So it's the plan. Okay.
Do you have one of these in the file?
I have enough time, so my notes on that. Right, Kirby.
I have a small one. You have a small one.
Up there, stamp on the other side, yep, January 13, 117.
Okay.
All right, so,
This was Mike's. Everything you gave us tonight should have on all this week.
Yes.
She's just too efficient.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it out of my office, I can have some room. Oh, let me get a sheet here, I'm sorry. Slack. Here you go. Actually, what's his name? Consent continuance, I didn't. Thank you.
all right. We have the annual meeting of the MACC, excuse me, coming up on March 4th. So I think we've all attended it in the past, and I think it's a great meeting. I don't know if anyone, excuse me, is planning on attending, but if you can attend and want to attend, feel free to apply. We have the money in our account for this, right? Okay. Do you know what the deadline is to apply?
Usually it's a week before, but I
Okay.
think the sooner you get your name in there, you get the classes you want, because you're filling up. Yep, there you go.
You know, and I think, Carolyn, in your case, they have the workshops regarding the fundamentals, which I think are, very useful.
Okay,
So
absolutely.
in any event, okay. So I hope to attend as well this year.
When they list lessons 105 and 201, that's the numbers. Good numbers for.
Okay, so why don't we go back and have talk about Applebee's again. We've been trying to engage them for some time now regarding the trash issue, and also it's the property that abuts Pioneer Lane. and it's behind Waterman Road. I mean, I'm inclined, if the letter went out on January 19th, to give them the benefit of the doubt one last time.
Okay,
But, and you say we have the name of the new manager, is that
Yes.
right?
yep, that's where I addressed it to.
Okay, and is it a he or she?
It's a man.
Okay. Perhaps we could send a letter, just by regular mail, to this gentleman, telling him that we expect someone from Applebee's to appear at our next meeting.
Christopher and Getty.
Okay. And that, you know, that we've had ongoing complaints of trash being dumped behind the Applebee's,
Okay.
and that, you know, we expect them to appear at our next meeting. You can even say 8:15 for them. And that if they don't appear, the board can and possibly will take further action.
Okay,
How's that sound?
sounds good.
Okay. So is there, can I have a motion to that effect?
Make a motion that we ask Sheila to send a letter to the manager, I believe, is that the manager, at Applebee's requesting appearance at the next meeting, and if he does not are able to appear, does not appear, we could take further action.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, a vote. Okay. And then, we carried Mr. Arello we've carried him for a few meetings now, still shown on the enforcement order. The order has remained in effect. We've had some communication with Mr. Coyle, and my understanding is that the town, or at least Mr. Coyle, isn't interested in permitting or regulating, you know, the use of town water. They would rather not it be used at all. So, I mean, I think our issue with Hydrograss has been resolved. It's moot at this point. So, unless someone feels a compelling need to keep the enforcement order in place, would there be a motion to dissolve it?
I just have a question.
Sure.
They spoke about having them come apply and get their water from the town hydrants and pay for it coming out of the hydrant. Is that part of the agreement that we made with him?
No, in fact,
No.
there was no agreement, and that's why I wanted to engage Mr. Coyle. And there was an email that was sent some time ago indicating that the town had no interest in permitting or allowing contractors like Hydrograss to use town water. So
Okay.
instead of regulating it, I think the position of the town is they want to just flat out not allow it to happen. And I know in the town of Chelmsford actually went so far as to amend their bylaws to put in language to that effect, that no outside vendor could use town water for any purpose. I mean, obviously the exception was for the fire department,
Yeah.
and you know, I imagine in an emergency situation, but otherwise, no contractors were allowed to do so.
Should we be doing that?
So, right, where do we
So,
Well, I mean, I suppose it's something we could consider. It is, I think it is within our jurisdiction, so, I mean, it's something we can certainly consider doing.
I would like to do that.
I would like to consider it as well.
Okay.
I would actually just like to do it. I would like to skip over the consider part and just move on to
Yeah,
the
that's
like.
consider doing.
Okay, well, we'll have to draft language, and then we have to, I have to find out what the approval process is. I don't know if we need to go or put a warrant on town meeting.
It would have to be for town meeting, I think.
So, why don't we do
Don't we have
this?
once a year that we,
Regulation.
isn't there once a year that we actually do? like
That's in
we-
May, the
in
town
May?
meeting, the
Yeah,
May May town meeting,
And they
yes.
sometimes have a September one too.
September, we're usually changing funds around.
so if outside
Money.
contractors have work in town, they have to bring their water from whatever town they live in, do business in, how do
You
they
know,
get their water?
I think what's happened is that they have, and again, I don't know what the process is. I know in Oxford, Mr. Arella talked about actually using or obtaining water from a hydrant. Apparently, because it was the path of least resistance, they took it directly from Eddie Pond. And of course, as you all know, we had a serious drought.
Yeah.
I think technically we're still in a drought. And so I think it struck some people as being odd to say the least. And unfortunately, I've looked at the Water Management Act, the state statute, and DEP doesn't get involved or permits the use of up to 100,000 gallons of water per day, which seems excessive to me. But what Chelmsford did, and I guess faced with a similar situation, was just to outlaw or prohibit that type of use entirely. So if that's what you want to do, and if you want to make a motion to do so, what I will do is I will then get in touch with our town manager and just find out what the process would be to amend our bylaw to include that type of prohibition, because that's what Chelmsford did.
Is that if they amended the bylaw, it would be anything you would have to send to a town meeting?
That's what I'm saying is that I don't know what the process is, and I would basically confer with Ms. Jacobson to see what she thinks that the process would be. Maybe she would confer with town council.
All right.
So if that's going to be, if you want to make the motion, go ahead.
Okay, I move that we amend our bylaws to show or to prohibit taking water from any of our fire hydrants, lakes, streams, for
Whatever.
private,
Water sources.
or from any of our water sources for private use.
Okay.
I'll second that, sorry.
And just maybe to refine your motion a little bit, to start the process of amending the bylaw to prohibit that type of usage.
Okay.
Correct?
Correct.
Your second?
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion?
I just had, now he wasn't, I know Mr. Aurello said he was not going to be touching any water, but should we notify him that, the town has decided not to allow any more water to be taken and that we're working on
I would say yes
or
to
just
that.
not even bother
What do you mean
telling
he
him?
said he wasn't touching any water?
He wasn't going to be taking any
Taking
more
any
water,
water.
he or his help,
For when?
from anything.
And
just
forever?
Well, until he would have to go down to DEP and talk to them possibly about,
He did.
Using
he
a
said
hydrant.
He said he wasn't gonna take any more water.
Right.
Right, but
I
this
think,
is
but
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
that wasn't forever. I mean, I
Correct,
think
this is what I'm,
No.
my question.
but I
Yeah.
mean, should we just let it lie and then pass this regulation, and then when he comes to see about using some water?
Well, first of all, I mean, we're just getting the process started. I mean, there will be some sort of public notice given. Now, I don't believe Mr. Aurello is a town resident,
No.
so
Yeah.
I'm not sure what notification he needs to receive. He will receive notice that, if in fact, because that would be the second part of this, if the board decides to dissolve the enforcement order, he will certainly receive notice of that. I don't know that we have any obligation to put him on
Okay.
further notice, especially given the fact that the process of amending the bylaw may take a few months.
Yep,
So,
just in time for the
And I
meeting.
agree with you. I don't think we have an obligation to.
No.
But I would rather actually send that out to him so that he does absolutely know and he's not pleading, I didn't later on, and have that water out of the
Well,
lakes and that.
We might have the regulation passed by the
Right.
time he needs water.
Yeah.
And so what we're not saying is what he has done is going to be at all punished in
Right.
any way, or don't.
Because he was saying, he came up with something from 5 years ago saying, yeah, I
Right,
thought
he's
that
been
this
doing
was
it, he's-
okay. Right.
the problem was that he was put on notice, he came to see us, he was asked to produce documents, which he did not bring. He told us that if memory serves me, I think he said he used a total of about 60,000 gallons of water. There's no way to confirm the amount of water that he used. He indicated that he was done, taking water from the town for his project, and that he had no intention of using town water and I think in the future, the foreseeable future. So, I mean, I think we got his attention with respect to the enforcement order. I'm suggesting to you that at this point, it's probably moot, that there's no further need for it. Now, again, if you disagree with me, we can certainly have a discussion about that.
I think when it actually gets on the books, let's revisit that one.
All right, so you want to leave it?
When we actually get that on the books and it becomes law.
All right.
Like, make sure that, because foreseeable future, I mean, anything can change in business, we all know that.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Fine, that's fine, I don't disagree. All right, so there was a motion with respect to amending the bylaw, there was a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, it's a vote. Okay. The meeting minutes. Did you print revised minutes?
I did. You should have gotten my.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Pass it
That's
around.
to us.
I did. I'm losing my mind.
That's okay.
I only have one correction on that, how's that?
Okay.
Woo, Mike must have got it
Well,
all. Look good.
Yeah,
Mike corrected it
Maybe
and
one or
sent it to
two.
me.
Which one? What
good.
is
the
it?
new one, the
Okay,
January 11th.
yep. Which one? What is it? What's the change you
he's-
want to make?
Oh, no
No,
changes.
no, he had no
Oh.
changes.
No changes.
Okay, all right.
That's very odd. Do we shut this down or just leave it there?
The one from Walsh is just letting us know.
Yes.
Okay. Shut, shut it down?
shut it down.
Okay, all right, good.
Any changes to the minutes?
I make a motion that we accept the minutes of January 11th, 2017.
I second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, it's a vote. Okay. Does anyone have anything else? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Wait, I just wanted to, well, I mean, this isn't got anything to do with you.
Oh, yeah.
Could you just go over that, the timing that you need to have these for,
Well,
as soon as
It
possible?
says it on the form, yeah, like, you know,
Yeah, I
try
thought it
to
was
get
like-
them in by a certain amount of time,
Yeah.
like February something.
it
Yeah.
used to say that, but I couldn't see it on this.
Especially
I didn't
for
see
the
it.
fundamentals, if you want the classes
here
that
it
you
is.
want.
Certain
certain
Yeah,
I should
fundamental
probably.
28th of February closes.
I mean, I think,
There's plenty of time.
I've seen people walk in.
Yeah,
on
they
the
charge you
meeting.
$25 more now for a walk-in.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
I just wanted everyone to know to get it to me, I'm gonna fax them over to her
Okay,
with the PO, so.
Okay.
okay.
All right. I think there's a motion to adjourn.
Second that?
Any discussion?
Who made that motion?
Michelle.
Michelle did.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you, everyone.